Alright guys, in this video we're going to take a look at Scrollview. Okay, so Scrollview is just that. It's a view that you're able to scroll, and it provides integration with the touch locking responder system. We can make it so that we can scroll horizontal and vertical, and there's a lot of different properties we can use as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my boilerplate here. It's a component called Scrollview component. And you can see that I did just bring in scroll view up here, so you want to add that. We're also going to be using the buttons, so I'm going to bring that in as well. Alright, now down here let's replace this text, and we're going to add scroll view. Okay, this is also going to get an ending tag of scroll view. Now I want content in here that is actually going to, be larger than the screen itself. So I'm going to paste some text in here, some text elements, and notice that each one has a style of font size 96. Okay, we're making the text really big so that it goes off the screen. So let's go ahead and save that and see what we get. Okay, so you can see we just get a bunch of big text, and if I go and I hold my mouse down and I drag up, you'll see that it'll scroll. I can also use my mouse wheel as well. That'll work too. Alright, so that's a basic scroll view. So let's go over some of the properties that it includes. So the first property is content container style. Okay, so content container style, and basically we can just set the container to have a certain style. So let's say padding 20. Save that, and you'll see that now there's padding. Now I don't see the difference between this and doing that. I couldn't find any differences, but I'm sure there must be something, or else they wouldn't have it. But anyway, that provides style to the container. Alright, now by default this is vertical scrolling, but we can also set a property called horizontal, and we can set that to true. Save that, and now you'll see that it's a horizontal scroll. Okay, so it changes the way the content is laid out. Alright, but I'm going to put that back to false. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the functions or some of the events that are available. So we have on content size change. Size change. Alright. This is called when the scrollable content view of the scroll view changes. Okay, when the height changes. So let's this actually takes in a couple parameters. We're just going to do an inline function here. So this will take in content width and content height. Okay, and then we'll use an arrow function. And let's just do console.log. Of course, we could put this in a separate method, a separate function as well. But I'm just going to put in height, and we'll concatenate content height. Okay, and let's put a space, and then we'll say width, and we'll concatenate content width. Alright, so let's save that, and it should fire off when we reload this. So I'm going to click in here and just double R, and you'll see that that fired off, and it gives us the height, which is right here, and then the width. Alright, another event handler we can use is on scroll, which does just that. It'll fire off when we scroll. So say on scroll, and let's set that to a set of empty parentheses, and then we'll just say console.log scrolling. Alright, so now if I go over and I start to scroll, you'll see that we're console logging scrolling. Alright, let's see, another one we have is paging enabled. So paging enabled by default is false, but we'll set it to true. And what that does is that when you start to scroll, it will go down as much as the first screen. So it'll be just in pages instead of scrolling, one by one. It'll just go down to the next page. So let's save that. All right, so if I go ahead and just click the mouse button or the mouse wheel, you'll see it just scrolls down by page, basically. All right. It's a little quirky on the emulator, but it is having a different behavior. All right, so I'm going to just set that back to false. And the next thing we're going to look at is scroll enabled, which obviously by default is true. But if we set that to false, actually that should be enabled with a D. Okay, so now if we go over and I'm trying to scroll, but it's not letting me. Okay, so scrolling is now disabled. And I'm just going to put that back to true. Alright, so the last two that we're going to look at is shows horizontal scroll indicator and shows vertical scroll indicator. Alright, because if let's just reload this. You'll see by default we have this little line on the side which shows us that we can scroll, but we can make that go away. So I'm just going to, we'll say shows horizontal scroll indicator, and we'll set that to this is horizontal, so I'll just set that to true. Vertical is what we want to take a look at. So let's say shows vertical, and we'll set that to false. Okay, so we'll save it. And I'm just going to reload this again. And now notice that on the side here, there's no scroll bar, there's no line. Alright, so that's what that property does. Now, we can also make this scroll from other elements. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a button in right above the scroll view. So let's say button, we'll give it a title of scroll. And we're going to say on press. Alright, now in order for us to be able to target this scroll view, we need to add a reference or a ref. So we're going to say ref equals, and in here let's put scroll view like that, and then an arrow function, and then we're going to set underscore scroll view equal to scroll view. Alright, so now we have a reference for that. Okay, and then let's go up here. And I'm sorry, I mean right here in the on press. And we're going to take that underscore scroll view reference, and we're going to say dot scroll to. And then we can pass in there an object. And we want the y-axis because we're going vertical. And let's say we want to scroll at 400. Okay, so we'll save that. Now we have this button, and I'm going to click it, and it scrolls down 400. Alright, so you can scroll from other elements as well. So that's going to be it for the scroll view. Hopefully this helped you guys out and helped you understand how it works, and I will see you in the next video. Hey guys, in this video we're going to look at switch. Okay, a switch is basically like a checkbox. It has an on and off state, and it looks pretty nice as well. So what we're going to do, I have this switch component that I created, and we're just importing it into our index Android and putting it right here. So in the switch component we're going to import switch from React Native, and in our state let's set value. We'll set it to this.props.value, and we want to set static default props. Okay, and I'm just going to set that value initially to false. Alright, and then down here we're going to put in our switch. Actually, we'll keep that text there, and under it we'll put switch. And let's put the value that's in the state right here. Say this dot state dot value. And for the switch, let's assign value equals, and we want to set that to the state value as well. State dot value. Alright, so let's save that, see what it gives us. Okay, so you can see that's what the switch looks like. If I click it, now if I click it, nothing, it's not actually changing because we need to add that functionality. So what we're going to do is we're going to say on value change, and we're going to set that, it's going to have a value parameter, and we're going to use an arrow function, and then we'll say this dot on value change. Alright, and then pass in value. Alright, and then we'll create that up here. Say value, and we can console.log it. Okay, and then we also want to set the state, so we're going to say this dot set state, and we're going to set value to value. Alright, let's save that. So now if I click it, you'll see that it goes on. Alright, now this isn't displaying anything in the text because it's just a true or false. So what we can do here is let's go above the return, and we'll say let, let's see, we'll say let toggle let's say this dot state dot value. Okay, so if it's true, then we'll say on. If not, we'll say off. Alright, and then here we'll display that toggle. Okay, so it's on. Let's click the switch. Now it's set to off. Okay, so we're changing the state with that switch. And as far as properties, there's not much. We can change the color. We can say on tint color, and we'll set that to, let's say, red. And then there's also tint color, which is the color when it's off. We'll say black. Okay, let's save it. Okay, if we go ahead and turn it on. Oh, you know what? I believe that this is for iOS only, so it's not going to show in our Android emulator. Alright, but just know that you do have that for iOS. Okay, so that is the switch. We'll be using this later on throughout the course and in our projects. And that's it. Thanks for watching.